Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're really pleased to be here to talk about digital aspects, human aspects, and traveling. We heard earlier today from Air France, and we work with them, in fact, on a training system. And we're now going to combine the two, and we're going to tell you about how we did this for iDTGV, a really nice, lovely brand. So I am the director of learning, digital learning for a learning tribe. And I am the customer service manager at iDTGV, a long-distance travel service, so transport and the innovation lab on the other. Zen and Zap, this is onboard Zen and Zap to improve the customer experience for passengers on board the trains, the high-speed trains. This is everything that we want to do to ensure that customers have a fluid and fast experience. So innovative ways of improving customer relations, and we'll look at this in training and customer relations as well. So just a few words about Learning Tribe, so those of you who don't know us. So we are the training subsidiary. We work in 4 main areas: redeveloping training, so training re-engineering, which is one of the examples from iDTGV, operational excellence on specific training for improving KPIs, for example. We accompany business transformations, changing tools, processes, and CRM. And also we do training digitalization, which is also at the heart of what we do. So in a little more detail to the case of iDTGV, what I wanted to do is to share with you 5 concepts that I think are very important when we talk about this. So when we talk about digital learning, so if you get involved in a project in the future, if this is your ambition, I think these are 5 things that you should bear in mind. First of all, attraction. It's very important these days. We're always thinking about offer, supply, and this applies also to training. So design your training processes in a way that is going to be attractive and attract people to your marketing plan. Secondly, engage, enhance training through varied and dynamic modules. Include games, play. Play is extremely important. As we've heard, we had some gamification also in our activities with iDTGV. Don't forget to involve your employees in the training process. The 4th area is learning. Sounds obvious, but make pedagogy, the teaching tool, a slightly different form of teaching, using digital tools, the skills and the transmission of skills at the heart of it. And finally, 5, you have to make sure that the learning pathway is relevant. So make sure that you have imparted the right training and actually that allows you to apply the right skills in the workplace. So this needs to be assessed to check that it is right. I hope that you share my opinion and agree with me how important this is, but we can discuss this later in the Q&A session. I'm going to hand over now to Christelle, who's going to tell us a little bit about the project and how we ended up working together on digitalizing the information and customer experience for iDTGV. Yes, we had a database, a presence-based database with very rich content, because our initial training generally lasts about 5 days, understanding how iDTGV operates and everything related to customer services. So with our team, if you like, I forgot to say this earlier, but iDTGV basically involves 4 people for integrated customer service and an externalized customer service platform with Acticool. We're not the only ones. Everybody here believes that customer service is fundamental and that good customer service is extremely important. An eminent professor, Edwin Memming, said that there are 2 functions of a company. There are some people who know the client, and there are some people who know what they do. And I think this is very true. We do need to invest in our advisors and customer service professionals to enable them to have access to fun digital information about the brand. And iDTGV wants to be agile and flexible. whereas a classic, standard, traditional format was lacking a little bit in this fun, dynamic aspect to really transform them into ambassadors of the brand that can really serve our customers and take them on an experience. Yeah, so we were really lucky to be part of their training, their face-to-face training as well. And now we set up a digital training that really matched and aligned with the image of the brand image. And we'll show you what this looked like exactly in the next slide. So just a few words also about our project and how it was organized and the key aspects of this in developing the training system. Nicolas talked earlier about collaboration, co-learning, test and learn. This was also at the heart of our project too, even though you see the fundamental principles here. It's important early on to share a joint goal. The learning tribe team that worked with iDTGV really worked hard to ensure that this fitted in with the mentality and the spirit of the brand. Also, yes, what was very important in the way that we did it was that it was established in a tripartite way. So we were included our partners very early on. It was essential for us to have experts, professional experts, and Natasha, our IT expert, who collaborates very closely with us, involved all of the people that were really going to take the project forward. This was fundamental. So we have learning tribes with a wonderful team, and we'll talk about this, because it was reassuring for us to know that we were working with you. It's not just a project is not just about money and the budget and investment, but it's also about human relationships. And of course, human relationships are always about individuals and interaction between them. So learning tribes on the one hand, and the project team. We had France from the iDTGV side of things, looking at the digital aspects, and then we had Actical and Natasha, who was the trainer. We may talk about this a little later, but it's extremely important to include them, all of these people, very early on. The trainer. What is the trainer going to do? What is their role? What is going to happen in this new project? So we can talk about this maybe a little later on. One of the key things was indeed envisaging the digitalization as a tool that can be used by the trainer, whether it's going to be used by the trainer in a training scenario, whether it's going to be put online for people to use freely. This had to be decided early on. If we zoom in on the content, I think the first block, if you like, that we laid is discovering iDTGV, putting ourselves in the place of the customer. What happens when you discover the brand? So how you understand the company's DNA, the brand's DNA, how this can be developed using digital tools through videos that are extremely useful as part of the immersion of employees in a training scenario. So yes, this is the structure, the overall architecture of our digital training based on the customer pathway with iDTGV, and we were very careful to try and include a sort of general block, a general element. We wanted to serve the interests of our employees, who were going to serve customers in turn, but also to think about including other types of employees that may be in other departments, such as finance, production, a crew, and so on. And so what we worked on with you is laying the first brick that can ultimately be exported to any kind of target and adapted to any kind of target. What is TGV, iDTGV? What is the offer? What is it for? So that actually this could be used for a very wide range of targets. So not only those that we had set up this e-learning module. This was a fundamental point, yes, indeed. The second point, I think, key part of the structure was working on gradual, progressive learning to make it easier for learners. We also set up a mirror effect between the learning pathway and the customer experience pathway, so that they mirrored one another. we'll see more about this later on. Origins and destinations, basically like the tickets that you buy. And also there was a mirror effect with production and operation, so that it could be as concrete as possible, operational as possible in this pedagogical approach. Something else that I mentioned in the key axes was gamification. We worked on the graphics and also the design, so that it would be as easy and quick to grasp as possible. iDTGV wants to be fun. It has a fun spirit, and this is also something we try to transmit to users of this, so including mascots, working on badges, sort of like Star Wars. You know, you can go even beyond the master if you get through the last quiz. So really engaging learners in the learning pathway. The focus really is on this, because that is what is going to get people through their pathway and allow people to move forward and advance and ultimately memorize the information and learn it. The range of media is also very important. We're no longer in a world where you can have a 20-25-minute module, e-learning module, that has little graphics or the sort of coercive, and you just hope that people click and move through it as quickly as possible. We really take the opposite approach. We offer very rich content, a la carte content that you can choose. Using cartooning, for example, on the video teaser that we launched. The aim is to present and introduce the learning pathway. And so there was quite a bit of communication about this before the training program actually started. Lots of illustrations of customer pathways, navigation through the site. And so we relied largely on existing content. Yes, the opportunity, making the most of the opportunity is very important. Trying to use what already exists rather than reinventing the wheel. So also a very marketing-centered approach, using videos to present certain tools and approaches. Not trying to redevelop content, but actually using existing content and place it in an e-learning context. This is also very useful when you're talking about a budget envelope, because money is always a concern. So we do have to limit costs to some degree, and it was also very opportunistic in this sense. When you're working on initial training programs, discovering the brand, learning about the culture of the organization, it's a very good idea to use existing communications and marketing content. And this actually can be extremely useful in initial training. Something else that you can do is use simulation of a phone conversation between a customer service provider and a fictional customer. This allows new or customer service representatives in training to be able to grasp the subject matter more easily. We also had videos or tutorials that are very basic, that allowing people to test a tool before in beta mode before it's actually available, so they can project themselves into their future position. We also used infographics and other tools, so varied, rich, targeted content and tools obviously are more focused depending on your needs. I'm now going to simulate the learner pathway through the platform. We worked on the training marketing also through digital learning. So we talked about ID Campus, so a training brand around iDTGV where we would reuse the images, the branding image, the visual identity of the brand in question. So we developed a number of different learning pathways. This platform is one that we developed using open source software, so it can actually be customized relatively easily and freely. There are many opportunities to see new graphic interfaces in different scenarios, and so you connect through the learner pathway, through Welcome Aboard. This is what it was called, and their onboarding program. This can also be done through a blog with information about the brand. Then you have the little teaser, some information also about how far you're progressing through the learning pathway. I think we're going to have to work on this a little bit because clearly you're not doing very well. 2% not doing terribly well. Nowhere near being a iDTGV advisor. But anyway, this is some of the things that we ask. You see the number of badges, the contributions that have been made to the forum, all of these things. This is really part of the aim of engaging users. This clearly enhances the experience, projects them into a scenario where they are really helping the customers and immersed in this environment. Yeah, so just a bit of detail. Our advisors may not necessarily know about what we do, what the experience is like, and we do give them that opportunity later on. But when they get started, they don't really understand or don't necessarily understand what the atmosphere is like and all of the services that we offer on board. And so the video actually allows the advisors to be immersed in the brand very, very quickly and to really feel at home in it. So yes, immersion is extremely important before they actually take up their post. And we have another videos, and we conclude each of the learning sessions with a little quiz that allows people to measure and validate their learnings and what they have acquired. So just before I conclude, I will just let Christelle say a few words about the scope of this project. We've highlighted some of the key success factors, but I would like to let Christelle. Well, I think overall I can say it was a very positive outcome. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, frankly. Yes, I would say it was a very positive. Learning Tribes really was very engaged, and this was really surprising, I have to say. I will say it's been in front of the audience. Really wonderful the way that you took up our own language, our jargon, and the way that we work. Something that I appreciated enormously, managing a budget as I do, is that your ability to adapt to our needs without trying to increase the overall budget and add in additional fees. So, I mean, I think that is important. That is appreciated. Also, you involved all of the people. You got them involved. Everybody had found their place, and all of the users were trained, and particularly Franz, Natasha, and myself were trained in how to use the platform so that we ourselves knew how to use it and could show others. And we did need to use it very quickly afterwards because we had the iDTGV Max, sort of a crisis situation, and we had to manage this to so we stopped this off and we had to set up the customer services all around this issue. We integrated video in 24 hours. The content was out there. Our customer service reps had been trained within 24 hours. There were many different profiles within this, 3 different profiles. Some came for different accounts at Acticall, some were completely external, and some had already had training and were internal customers. And actually within 24 hours they were ready in production to serve our customers, and they did so very well. I won't say that we reached operational excellence immediately after, but they continued to learn, but they were able to operate, and they did so very well. The main takeaway for me is for us that the tool it was very useful, and the advisors, the feedback they gave us said we should contact them whenever we wanted. So the tool that was set up actually allowed them to be integrated into the team very, very quickly within the iDTGV hierarchy, and also in terms of what we offer our clients. Thank you, Christelle, and thank you all for your attention.
On sera ravis de répondre.
So we will try to answer any questions that you have, if you have any. Yes, well done. Very effective and within the time limit. So very well done. Thank you. Any questions?
Pas de questions, on a été parfait, Nils.
No questions? Very clear then? Spoke to you soon. Hi. If there is just one trigger that you think encouraged you to launch the project, what would that be? what really triggered the launch of the project? I think the range of media use and apart from digital, because you can do whatever you want with digital. What I liked was the range of tools and different mediums that are used. So we'd already started to space it out, and this really engaged our team and drove us forward. How do you plan to bring this to life? So you've created something, but how has it been rolled out? Well, iDTGV is going to stop at the end of the year in terms of training. So the initial training will be stopped. We had to crisis management issue in January. So obviously we rolled this training out then, this initial training then, and we're going to continue to use continuous training because there are changes in place. We continue to work on awareness and customer relations and excellence in this area. So we're very much focused now on continuous training rather than initial training because our structure is training. If I can just add something to this, the type of learning pathway is very granular with different types of content, and this makes it easier to update in the future. So when you change your offer, when you change a process, you can just change that section or that area of the module. So from very early stages of designing the training program, you need to think about whether this is likely to change and try to include this, thinking about how customers are going to, how the users can actually take control of this. Yes, indeed. We decided to have initial training, but this doesn't prevent us from creating our own additional tools for continuous training and on specific subject areas on which we want to see our employees progress. Thank you. I would like to know, from that time where you decided that you were going to place an order, that you were getting an order from iDTGV, and up until the end when you actually delivered the product, I think, how long did that take? Well, I think it was about 3 months, 5 months, including the holiday. So we started in June, and it was delivered in October, so we started in October. You should bear in mind that the duration of the project we were working together, there were no fixed deadlines, or at least no strict deadlines. They wanted to focus essentially on the quality of the product rather than the deadline. Yes, through this initial training, it can actually be used also as a knowledge base. We already had the basic medium, the basic tools, so this has already been there. That meant that it was relatively quick to move through the creation of content. So tutorials, videos, and so on, all of that didn't take very long. It took 3 months, but not very intensive 3 months. So we had weekly meetings with the team. Each member of the team had their own actions. And I think the collective work, the collective effort was also very significant. And this meant that there was something very structured. You invited us on a weekly basis to think about the activities that we were doing, to think about what everybody was doing, so that everything was done in a thought out and planned way. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.